Agape Soul Shoutique. High-end boutique looks and quality with affordable pricing. Located at 6025 Martin Luther King Street South in St. Pete. Choose from our amazing selection of stylish, fashion-forward heels, wedges, boots, children's shoes, accessories, and much more. You can shop now and pay later, interest-free with Afterpay. Subscribe to our website and get huge savings on our latest products at agapesoulshoutique.com. For more information, call 727-379-1318. Come give your feet the royal treatment and check us out at Agape Soul Shoutique today.
District 7 is located along its north end on 5th Avenue North, all the way down to 54th Avenue South, from as far west as 58th Street to 16th Street South on the east. I'm Brother John Muhammad, your council member for District 7. We're standing in one of my favorite spots in the district, Clam Bayou Preserve. This nature preserve is a great destination for anyone looking to escape the buzz of city life. The park offers walking and biking trails and a launching spot for kayakers and paddleboarders. It's easy to stay active and outdoors around here. District 7 is also home to the Thomas Jet Jackson Rec Center, Genie Hall Pool, and the Childs Park Recreation Center, where you can spot one of our most recognizable landmarks in the district, the Dream Big, Be Big mural. If those destinations weren't enough, we also have the Skyway Trail and the Pinellas Trail, offering car-free mobility throughout the district and connecting to other parts of the city of St. Petersburg. If history and culture is what you seek, this district is also rich with options, from the Dr. Carter G. Woodson African American Museum, a stroll along the African American Heritage Trail, or a visit to the historic Manhattan Casino. Our local businesses shine in the district. Local shops and good food can be found throughout, including the Deuces Live Main Street and the 16th Street Business District. District 7's locations within St. Pete is also close proximity to just about everything, whether you're looking for access to downtown or the waterfront on the east, or the Gulf beaches to the west. There's a lot that I can say about what I love about representing this district, but what it really comes down to is the people who live here, the people who work here, and the rich history of resilience, all due to a community that has overcome barriers to progress time and time again.
Just right. How y'all doing out there, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area? This King Jad, the voice of the people. I got a special guest in the house with me, Miss Erica Hardison.
Yes, in the house.
All right, I had to make sure I get that right. And we're going to get into some special things about a grocery co-op here in St. Pete. Because I don't put in my bid to be a board member. Yeah, it's that because we're going to blow that out of the water. That's going to be big. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But I want to touch on a few things. I know I ain't got a lot of people on here yet, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to review this clip because I want all y'all to be on point with this here. What is date? August 26th. Saturday, August 26th is the NACA Workshop the NACA workshop. I want to have at least 10 to 15, 20 to 100 people out of St. Pete on this virtual workshop, right? We finna take a journey. The play with the NACA workshop is, y'all, let's make a wise decision. You can either go purchase a home. My suggestion is let's get multi-family units.
True.
That is my suggestion. Like 10, 15 of us, let's get multi-family units. Let's make a play. Or you can build from the ground. NACA is a program that pays everything. Once you go through their guidelines and you fall within their guidelines from the workshop, it's no down payment. You may have to play a closing, but no down payment. You want to say so?
You know what, King Jab, this is so like I believe everything happens for a reason and nothing happens by accident.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about NACA,
Mm-hmm.
I actually have personal experience with NACA,
Mm-hmm.
and so I tell people,
What's up?
like, it is an amazing program. It is now it's scripted, it's
Mhm.
structured, but once you in, you are in, and they make it happen.
Okay,
Seriously
so
and true.
I'm glad you're here to signify.
So I'm here
all
to
right.
signify.
So, because I want people, like, I just signed up, man. My homeboy called me. He was like, bro, I got my interview with my case manager next week. I'm like, dang. He told me about this. He was like, bro, I'm finna take off. I ain't want to, you know what I mean? I ain't want to run the play then. You ain't know I was on offense.
Listen,
So I was like,
don't get left behind. Like, seriously, don't get left behind, because I've had, like, I'm telling you, I probably went through the process about like at least 15 years ago.
So, all of y'all out there on Radio Land, I know y'all can't see what's on the screen for the social media.
Mm-hmm.
The NACA is NACA. You can just go to NACA.com. When you go to NACA, in order to go through the program, you have to go through the workshop. The next workshop is 8/26. It's a Saturday. It's virtual. Excuse me. You don't have to go nowhere. Just log in on your phone. Act like you know how to use the phone. That's all. Let's go through this program. Benefits of NACA. I'm giving y'all the game now. NACA has just merged with Housing and HUD. So you can use your housing voucher to pay your mortgage. So everybody, like, okay, all my people out there, especially if you are listening to me and you one of my tax clients, if you go through this program, you run through this program, you start right here in August. In the real world, we looking at around tax time, man, you taking your tax return and closing on your house. All right. On your, okay, so
Getting the key.
let's go back to the programs. Now, you can use your housing to pay for your rent. I say it's a big old piece. I'm sorry, y'all. OCD will not let me have this big old piece of hair sitting right here before me. All right. I say multi-family unit. Why? Because if people get scared when you see the price of the multi-family units, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, this thing is $1.72 million. But that's not the way the program works is if you have 4 units, let's go 4 units. Mm-hmm. You have to live in 1 unit, that counts as your income. And the rent you charge for the other 3 units count as income. So that now this puts you in the range to afford. I'm giving y'all game right here, man.
And it's all about cooperation, right? Mm-hmm. So those people who you're living in 1 unit, the other 3 mm-hmm. units, you are able to help. Those people may not be in a position. They might not have attended the NACA
Man, you can actually train them and move them, man.
And you create a space where you are now helping other people. Now, if you're gonna be a bad landlord, that's on you, right?
I mean,
But
that come with if you're a bad person, you're a bad landlord.
true.
So if you, I don't think that come. Oh, it's just a bad. No, it's if you got a conscience and you feel like treat people. If you want to be treated how you treat others, you'll treat. You know what I mean? That's just how that rolls.
Exactly. So, but the real deal, like what King Jab is saying, is it's true. You can. It now. I'm here speaking from experience. It's a program, but it's a program if you stick to the plan. Okay. And that when you follow it, you will do well. They will have your back and everything through the whole process. So do it.
Another thing, everybody like, oh, my credit. NACA goes by your credit profile, not your credit score.
Don't matter.
So we work on dropping maybe some of your debt to income ratio. You know what I mean? They might, you know what I mean, tell you, hey, pay this much on the car and refinance. You know what I mean? Just they gonna give you, like you say, they're gonna give you every step that you need to go through for them to pay for this property for you. So now it's on you and your diligence. But like I said, if I get 20 people on there, 10 of us gonna make it to the finish line.
No.
Hey.
King Jab, we need this.
We need 20 for 20?
No. We need 20 for 20, and we actually need more than 20 people to come. Again, when you go through a process together, like one of the things that I will say is like I went through the process by myself. Like I somehow came across it and I was like, okay, bam, right? And I'm pretty good. You know, my background is in mathematics. I'm pretty good at following logic and logical models as long as you can make it make sense. And mathematics, you know, I'm math and math. So
okay, good. I like that. I like that.
However, my teaching background tells me that when you go through a process together, and you have someone to support you, not only will NACA support you, but you have someone you know who's supporting you and will say, hey man, I know it's tough, but we gonna get through this thing together. We gonna get our keys at the same time. We gonna make it happen. That type of cooperation makes it happen, because I will tell you, I've had friends in different states. And so like I said, I was one of the, I probably was one of the first in my friend group to do it. But after, people saw me, they were like, what you doing? I was like, I'm telling you, going at this time you have to go in person, get it together. And I got friends, up north, they did it and they're happy. And, again, we, some of them, they're like, oh man, I don't want to listen. Finish line. Again, support.
I hear a lot of people like, okay, there's two things you said in that. I hear a lot of people that have gotten discouraged into the program before, and from my understanding, they have revamped and kind of improved their processes. But it's all about how hard you're going to go. And when you said what you just said about the support, see, that's crazy, because in my mind, I'm not the type of person that. And that's crazy, because me and my wife is exact opposite. She wants to have been to complete the process where she shows somebody how to do it. And in my mind, I was like, man, I can get these people, we can just take a journey together. Because why they try to learn, like when so they're going to give you a list. They might say, hey, I need you to get your debt to income ratio down. But they may not explain how. And I can come in there with some game, like, okay, so now with your situation, we're going to do this, and do that. With your situation, we might need to do this, and do that. And we push it like that. So that's exactly what I want to do. I want to get, a group of people, and let's just take the journey together, and let's assist each other and encourage each other. And then when we come into the finish line, we can help each other find homes, help each other make the decision. Like, hey, man, I see a multi-family over here. Hey, man, you ready? You need to go get this one. You know what I mean? Just support each other all the way up the way. that's just something that I'm looking at, and that's actually what I'm going to implement with this.
Yeah, and I mean it's we hear about this all the time, like a cohort this a group, but it's really there's power in numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a brother at Whitfield, and he always says you're only as smart as the people in the room, right? So it's about that amplifying effect that we have when we cooperate, when we help each other, and we're going through a process together. Because if you got to think about it, you know, you don't always want to engage like when we, and I hate to relate this to something like war, but when you are, you know, when you're in war and you're doing one-to-one combat, it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you need like, hey man.
Yeah, you need everybody. In war and love, we all need each other, right? So it's very important that we really learn how to cooperate, and we really say like, hey man, I know, you know, I know what you're going through. There's an old quote in proverb, and it says, you know, shared grief is halved and shared joy is doubled. So when you share your troubles, your hardships with someone, you just cut them in half, because hopefully you're sharing with someone who's able to support you and pull you through when you don't have the strength to pull yourself through, right? And then when you share your joys, you know, I have a friend, it's their birthday today, right?
Yeah.
When you celebrate your birthday, you know, if you at home and you just like chilling, okay, it's my birthday. When you get your boys, your girls together, it turns
it's
into
my dog's birthday.
Exactly. We getting crunk, we're making it happen. And even those, like I tell people, you know, sometimes you invite me to a party, I may be, if you, I'm the only one, I may be a little boring, right? But just like I heard that hammer come on,
all right,
I was
like,
okay,
I see where you at with
it. We're going to make this happen. And that's what happens when we cooperate. That's what happens when we are able to share our joys, share our concerns, and work together to solve these challenges, to solve problems that we're going through in the world. And it's so like I said, I don't believe in coincidence. I think everything happens for a reason. So me coming out today and you starting with NACA, because I tell people, if you're looking to buy, if you don't have any credit or you have bad credit and you're looking to buy a home and you're willing to go through a process, like some people are going to tell you, oh, clean up your credit and you'll get this, and it'll only last for a short period of time. But when you're making an investment, that's for your future. That's a vision that you have long, you know, it's not a get quick rich. It's not a, you know.
And it's a community, because now I'm a tax preparer. I don't have to actually tell you, I don't have to actually prepare your taxes, because you might have your own tax preparer, but I can say, hey, when you go to get your taxes done, make sure they do this, 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 and this, and this, so that we can get the outcome that we're looking for. You know what I mean? And that's important. And I think that I'm going to, when I sit back down with Brother John, I think we can frame this around buying back the hood, and reversing what they so-called gentrification. And I only really think they call it just gentrification because we put a bad R around our hood. But when you say hood, it's neighborhood. We took the neighbor out of the hood. That's one of Brother John words, right? You know what I mean? We took so when we say hood, it's a short for neighbor. Like you're a neighbor in the hood. We took that away from it, so we can actually use that as an opportunity to buy back St. Petersburg.
Exactly.
And even with this loan, because I got to switch gears, I got to get into the co-op too.
Right.
Even with this loan, you can build from the ground. So now we got the opportunity to take some of the vacant lots that the city got, and once these people go through the program, allocate them. All right, see, Erica, I'm gonna let you into my world. You heard what we just put out there? Watch they be doing this in the next 6 months, but they ain't gonna pay me to do it. let's
So yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, sometimes the payment that we receive, right,
come from a whole different angle.
a whole different angle.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at it, and again, I know we're gonna get to the co-op, and I definitely want to get to the co-op,
Mm-hmm.
right? But this is a way for people, again, the co-op is a way for us to invest in our community, right? A way for us to have ownership in what's going on and have a voice in what's going on in our community. And like it or not, home ownership is a way for you to have a voice in your community as well, right? Because home ownership brings stability to a lot of communities. It brings generational wealth to communities. So when we talk about NACA, when we talk about the grocery co-op, those things aren't independent of each other. Yes, they're different, right? But all together, they all intertwine
And build community.
And that's what we're trying to do: build and stabilize community, so that and it's not just for me. I tell people, like, people say, "Why do you do this?" and blah blah, and I'm like, look, I got a bunch of accountability partners. I call my children at home.
The accountability part.
Yeah,
I like that better than broke best friend. I don't like a broke best friend.
Oh no,
that sounds like you putting brokenness on them.
I'm not putting brokenness on them. I'm putting
accountability.
I'm putting accountability on them, and they hold me accountable, and I hold them accountable. That's why I say we're accountability partners.
Gotcha.
And I want us, and not only are my children my accountability partners, but I consider the community as accountability partners as well, because we are really working to build community, to do something together, to have generational wealth, to leave a legacy.
And you know what, Erica, I'm gonna have to invite you back and do, cause see, when I really go to spitting game, I got like that's something that I'm really. My New Year's resolution was regurgitation, and like I said, I just put out a whole program, and what I said, it'll be out there. You'll see it in 6 months, but like you said, I get paid in other ways. Speaking of community, because I gotta change direction.
Yes.
Speaking of community, in the midst of everybody talking about mental health and our community dealing with our children and elders, I mean our community as a whole, because it ranges from elementary and middle school to death. So I came across the article in the midst of all of us, our community right here in St. Pete. I just seen that they cut funding from the well. So the well lost funding in one of and that's big for our community. They lost state funding in one of the House passed bills signed by DeSantis. I don't call it DeSantis. I'm sorry, DeSantis. Okay, yeah. All right, so yeah, I'm getting texts coming in. So yeah, that's something we gotta play. We gotta pay attention to. That's something that we gotta look into.
Yeah, we have to participate in the democratic process.
Protect our what?
So, like,
what you say? Participate in the democratic process. Okay.
Yes, and when I say that, and a lot of people don't understand, like, I'm a voter. And so I'm going to encourage people to vote, because when you don't vote, you don't use your voice. And I know a lot of times there's a lot of things around that, and there's a lot of ways that we have found as a people to kind of, let's just say, pivot and endure. But when we really talk about policy, when we really talk about how we can make this happen, we can do it through our vote.
Yeah.
We can vote the people that we want in.
You got to
in
change it
office.
locally. Like
Exactly.
people look at it like in such of a broad manner. Like, oh, I voted for president. No, you
gotta vote for those people who you
gotta
can
go
see,
vote.
and they
You gotta
can be
go vote for
accountable.
Brother John.
It,
you
let's
gotta
say
go
that.
vote for, huh?
Say it again.
You gotta go vote for Brother John. You gotta go vote for people like Dr. Keisha Vincent Watson that lost the race for our school board by a short number of votes to somebody that was planted into our school board by Ron DeSantis. You got to go vote for the black lady judge that lost by a small number of votes. But this is a judge. This is one of the people that will be judging us when we come into the courthouse. So this is the democratic process we got to play. You got to be close to home. I got Renee Ross. She said, "What is our topics for the day?" We hit a couple topics. We was talking about the NACA loans, the NACA loans, and we were just talking about the well. Dr. LaDonna Butler runs the well, and it's a mental health advocacy and assistance to the community. And they lost their funding because of bill sign that passed through the House Senate, so they lost their local funding. And I don't really get into politics because that ain't really my thing. I don't, you know what I mean? I like I said, I care more about what's happening around the corner for me than what's happening in Washington D.C.
Right. But and a part of that, and when we talk about, getting back to the topic, like, I'm on because I'm talking about One Community Grocery Co-op, which is a startup grocery co-op for the south side of St. Petersburg. Changes names all the time, Midtown CRA, but the bottom line is we are here to bring food access and security to the south side of St. Petersburg and marginalized populations in St. Petersburg. We're here not only to bring healthy, nutritionally dense food, but we're here to bring economic development when we talk about jobs, when we talk about infusion of capital, which is money, into the south side, into the community, so that people can actually experience the wealth instead of having people from the outside come in and do the work and then they get paid and they're taking that money somewhere else. We're here to talk about that. But when we talk about those things, the first two topics that we talked about, the well and NACA,
all that time go right back into the community, right?
It goes right back into the community.
Because I got a Renee Ross on Facebook. She said, we need a mental health center in South St. Pete. That's the well.
That's the well. That's the co-op. That's the co-op. Because if you can't have great mental health when you're not feeding your body.
What is a co-op? Explain to people what a co-op is. Let's start there. I'm looking at you sent me a bunch of formal questions, right? So what is, first of all, co-op? Then we'll double back around.
So basically, a co-op is a business structure, and it's a business structure that comes about from a group of people seeing a need in the community. In our case, it's a retail grocery store, which will stay in the community. And this group of people gets together and they form a business, and they are now member owners of this business. So again, we're investing in the community, and the community is now owning the business. It's not owned by some outside investors who live up north or who live down south, who on a boat, checking their phone to make sure the margins are right so they can go on their next vacation. It's owned by people who are affected by what's going on in the community.
So I'm gonna put grocery on top of that.
Right.
So the grocery co-op is pretty much a people-owned grocery store.
Exactly.
It's
a community-owned
grocery store. You are a part owner of this grocery store. That's what we're working on. That's what the plan is. We want the people to be ownership of this grocery store. Um, what if I invested in a car? What would it benefit me as being a member or owner? Like what comes as my benefit?
So the member, the benefits of becoming a member owner is, and especially in the startup phase, is you get to make the decisions. You get to help shape what the co-op and the business look like. So as a member owner, like we have not chosen a location. So the benefit of becoming a member owner when we are in stage 2, which is feasibility, and I'll kind of go through those stages, you get to say, like, I think the grocery co-op should be in this place, and this is why. And at the members will have an opportunity to vote and say, this is where we want it. Versus when investors come in and they don't even know the community, right? So they just put it in a spot and say, this is where we're going to put it, and if you don't like it, then that's on you. Also, again, the biggest thing is your voice. You have the ability to control what's going on. We always talk about, we talk about this funding, we talk about how we want things to happen. And the way that we make things happen is to really be a part of something and really use your voice and actively participate in things. So as a member owner, you'll be able to actively participate in the process of opening the grocery store. You'll get to say, like, we hope that the needs of the community will be reflected. So you get to decide, hey, this is the type of food that we want to have. We want to have a health center located in the co-op.
So, in my mind, the reason why I want to be a board member of the co-op because I see what's happening in the community. And when you see, my background is food and beverage. My background is pest control. All of this is going to be used in this grocery store. I already know all of this. We have the St. Pete Youth Farm, right? They're growing fresh, non-chemically fertilized vegetables and fruit.
Exactly.
We got people like my brother Crutel that's under the bridge. Like Crutel shouldn't have to sell no watermelon. We should be buying all this watermelon. All this yellow water, you can come right to our grocery store and get it because we go buy this whole load. You ain't got to use that out there no more, bro. That's what I see in a community co-op. I have somebody, in the chat that said two things that kind of, contradicted to me. It stated that I hate the fact that we depend on government funding to support our community.
But that's
then hold on. Then she came back and said, if we were more united, then that will work. But until then, we need a grocery store. So that's one of the hurdles that I don't believe in jumping over hurdles. Like we run through them, but we have to start somewhere. If when Dixie comes in there, we'll have a grocery store. But guess what? We have no ownership in that. If the ownership of that grocery store, like the past ones that was there, decide, hey, I don't want to be there no more. Guess what?
Yeah.
They can pack up their stuff and leave. It's no sustainability from the community. They don't have to purchase from vendors out of our community. So I just think that we need to, start somewhere and build our own. That's just my thought process. Like where I live at, man, ain't no grocery store. Like I understand Midtown, but I'm down here on 62nd South. There's no one in my area can walk to a grocery store. Like literally, it's easier for me to go to Dollar General.
And what's that Dollar General, right? So,
aftermarket product.
and so, and I just want to address the questions and comments in the chat. So, you're right. We should not have to depend on governments to take care of us, right? And I won't say we shouldn't, because we pay taxes just like everybody else. So I will start with that. And so the other part of that is how co-ops came about, like the history of co-ops came about because after the Emancipation Proclamation, we just celebrated Juneteenth, right? After that happened, there was nothing in place for formerly enslaved people to build wealth, to take to the government definitely was not helping. They said, like, now you're free, do what you do. And how do we do what we do when we have we're constantly being taken care of by someone else? So we didn't know the procedures, we didn't know these things. Now some of us did, and those of us, which goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, like when we cooperate, when we say as a group we are going to help each other. Like you hear people talking about these susus now and everything else, but those started from after the Emancipation Proclamation. Mutual aid societies came about, and formerly enslaved people said, "Hey, we are stronger together. So you have expertise in this. You got some dollars. I'm going to give you some of my dollars, my little dollars, because I know you have expertise. You are going to give me some of your little dollars because you know I have expertise in this area. And you know what? Together we are going to move up the road. Together we are going to educate our children. Together we are going to be able to have a business. Together we're going to be able to take care of our family's health, their burial needs, their whatever." And this is how we have these mutual aid societies and things that came out of that time period. And a lot of those ended up being co-ops. So that's what a co-op is. It's we're pooling our resources together so we don't have to depend on the regular retail grocery store or the corporate retail grocery stores, because whether it's Publix, Walmart, Winn-Dixie, any of those are all big giants, right? And their profit model feeds on the fact that they know that we're not going to work together, right? So when we start working together, when we start saying, "Hey,"
every community but us builds their economic structure on how much money we go spend with them.
right? But when we look at that, if we start spending money with each other and we start investing in our community and keeping that money and that dollar circulating throughout our community as long as we can, right? That's what builds wealth. That's what builds stability. That's what builds generational wealth and a legacy for our children and the people who come after us. And a lot of times, like, I can somewhat empathize with people when they say, "Well, I just want to let someone else do it." Like, until then, we just need a Winn-Dixie, right? But why, when we have the knowledge in our communities? There are people from our community who have worked for Winn-Dixie, Publix, Walmart,
all of them,
for years. And so they know the systems, right? They know the system. So what would happen if they put that knowledge that they've been using every day, that Winn-Dixie, Publix, Walmart, and all the other giants have paid them to do? What happens when they say, "Look, I know how much, I know how this meat market works. I know how this meat section works. I know how much it costs to make it profitable."
We smart enough, y'all.
We are smart enough. We have the knowledge, but it's about coming together and being in the same room and cooperating and sharing our knowledge for the betterment of our whole community.
So Okay, my thing is government programs.
Mhm. We gonna
I
use some of those.
actually just text my one of my mentors that we go like, okay, part of the government programs, we taking the wrong direction with these government programs, right? Capacity building. Um, we don't have the capacity building in a lot of our businesses
Right.
to be in position to receive these grants. We
Right.
don't have a capacity building in a lot of our nonprofits
To be able to do this.
to be able to get this money. So when it comes to the government funding, this is what happened. This is a real life story. This is what happened to Pete and Jeff, right? Program was to offer digital inclusion to people in the Child's Park area. Offer people that don't have internet, internet and computer training. I got an email, I applied for it, I got an interview. I did the interview. Okay, I think I did pretty good. Got a reply email, we weren't chosen, we chose Stephanie Grabkowski.
Mm-hmm.
Therein, I pointed out the problem to our government programs. Our nonprofits don't have the capacity or the wherewithal to come back and hire. They don't hire the people from the community to do the things from the community. Because Stephanie is not going to go to nobody's house in Child's Park, knocking on nobody's door, talking about, hey, y'all need some internet? And this was a salary paid position.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now, how long are you going to sit here and play with our community collecting this salary? How long are you going to be able to, and this is what people are doing. This is the part of the problem with the government funding. But we have to build our own capacity in that. I don't want to stick on that. I want to ask you. I want to go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We can stick to this but I agree in terms of capacity that we have to build our capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I will say, and I want to give credit where credit is due. So, like about a little over 6 weeks ago, right? The city of St. Pete came out with the micro fund, right?
I got it.
And the co-op got it as well, right? And they are putting it. You have to have this capacity building program, right? And I get it, and I agree with it, because we do have to build capacity, because it's just like they talk about when Oprah Winfrey comes and talks to you and says, hey, I'm gonna put your product on my show or in my book or whatever. She has a whole team that comes to you and says, now, are you ready? Because once she lets this go, you need to be able to fulfill these orders. Yeah. And so that goes back to capacity. So the city of St. Pete, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. They are trying. And that microphone.
Let me ask you a question about the microphone, right? Because we were both at the meeting. How many of them businesses you think going to complete all the tasks?
This is what I'm going to tell you. Now, we broke up in groups, and I think there were like 50 some odd of us, right? But one of the things that I did see is that, like, we knew each other, and I knew a lot of people in the room, but how can we get through this together? And it all boils down to that. Like, I'm convinced, like, I'm telling everybody that I know who did it, hey, look, I am down. We're in this thing together. So I want everybody, because if we use each other, all that money that is going out through that microfinance program, all those businesses are in the CRA. So guess what? If we spend it with each other, then all that money stays in the CRA, and we can build our capacity, and then we can move forward. And so that's what we need to do in terms of building capacity. And I know people are like, I don't want to be in another program, Miss Erica. They not gonna do it. So let me give you my math. We do numbers, right? 15 hours
for a $10,000 grant, come out to like 600 something an hour.
Who getting paid 600 and something an hour right now? Exactly, but we have to think about it that way.
Just in that manner. Cause I have to tell people like that all the time. I'm a tax preparer. Oh man, I keep calling the IRS. They won't answer the phone. I still ain't got my money. They call us back with aggression because they can't get IRS on the phone. I have to break it down to you like, okay, hold on. You at work right now, right? Your tax return was $5,000. Like, how many hours you think you had to work at that job to make $5,000? And they were like, oh, so then I go into how many hours do you think you will be on the phone? Because if it take me all these hours to work at this job, if I got to spend 5 hours a day on the phone, if I have my thing in my ear waiting on the IRS to pick up. So that's what I tell people all the time.
Right. But it's that type of thinking, and again, it's us working together. It's us cooperating, and it's us finding a way to help one another get through these processes. And getting back to the grocery co-op, that is what we're trying to do. We are trying to be self-determined people, right? So we can say, like, this is what we need, and when we have self-determination, this is what we need. And I know you over here, brother in my community, sister in my community, this is what we got to do together to make it happen. So let's make it happen. And again, everybody can't know everything. We can't be. I tell people all the time, I don't know everything, but I probably know somebody who knows more than me, and together we can make this happen, right?
When I say we're smart enough, just like you said, you have people that work in the industry forever. We have people that are running stores for $1 million corporations. We're running the background money. Like, you're doing things that the owner of this corporation don't even know how to do. Doesn't know, but he hired you. If we it's in this community, like right here in St. Pete, right? There's 2 hurdles we gotta hop over. We gotta hop over the hurdle of feeling like, because if I ain't started, or if I went in the beginning process, I just do something else. That's one of the hurdles we got to get over. We got to get over the hurdle of black on black financial racism. Like, we have to spend our dollars with each other in our community and support these businesses within our community. That is very true. We have to also get over the hurdle of being grown in our feelings. That's a big one. Because this is what I see a problem in St. Pete. Goes all the way to the government. It's a problem a lot of people got with King Jab. I'm gonna tell you what's real, if you like it or not. Now, you get in your feelings because you feel like you exposed that. No, I told you what was happening. How are you gonna take this, what I'm telling you, and proceed forward? Let me give you a prime example of that, right? We'll go back to the St. Pete Micro Fund. At the press conference for the Micro Fund, I asked the question immediately because I've seen what's happening to the business in our community. I watched this. Hey, what is the programs and systems set up and operations set up to make sure that these funds are allocated equally throughout our neighborhood, our community, right? Immediately, the mayor tapped Brother John. Because he knew what I was talking about. He heard me. When I was at that meeting, I was really just sitting there and enjoying art, because I'm like, dang, they really heard what I said, man. They really heard the need from the community, and they really put this equity in this room, and it's mixed up. You can't say one community is exposed more more than the other. They did a good job of that, and that's all I wanted. So when we building things and when we work like so, let's tie that back into the co-op because we have to work within our community to build the things for our community. That takes us working, running, and taking journeys together and working with each other. That takes us disagreeing with each other
And finding a
and,
way
and saying, hold on, let's get back to okay. Yeah, we disagreeing, but this is the objective. So in the midst of the disagreeing, how can we work our objective into this? And we have to be adults. This is why I like being on the board for Lakewood. This is why I like working with the 8 Kings. It's not a dictatorship here.
Right.
It's a
democratic, and that's and getting back to the co-op, that's what it is. One of the 7 principles for the co-op is democratic. Mm-hmm. Everyone has a voice, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that I heard you say is that you use your voice.
Oh,
when you were at the microphone press conference, you used it. People heard what you said, and a lot of times people feel like,
and it rubs some people the wrong way. Even now, I feel the but guess what? It don't matter because when I seen in that room, I was, you know what I mean. I was like, hey man, I can't. First one to complain and they shut my mouth. You know what I mean? So that's what it was. So and then with the co-op, like this is an opportunity to have ownership. Like I believe in ownership. So if we can start right here and build a community grocery store, and then we all support our community grocery store. Like right now, you shouldn't be buying no sweet potatoes from nobody but the St. Pete Youth Farm.
Right.
They got like collard best, some of the
best
cleanest, best collard greens I've had, and I'm a chef now. I do my thing, man. Man, Carla went to picking me the big leaves, and she handed them to me like she talking. Cause you know Carla, like it's a whole conversation. She rambling. I got a bunch of. She just handed me collard greens. Like yes, man. I went home and first when I cleaned them, I was like, wow, these collard greens clean. Cause I'm OCD about my food now. So and they were great tasting. When I say okay, so let's go back and let's say what would you like the community to know about the benefits of having this co-op and how will it contribute to the local economy? And that's important, the local economy. How will this co-op contribute to the local economy and ownership first and foremost? And
so like when we think about the local economy and when you ask that question, you know, there's several things. So when we just talk about the economics, the co-op will bring jobs and good jobs to our community. When we go through what a co-op needs, a co-op is just like any other business. So accounting, managers, cashiers, janitorial,
stocking,
the whole range of jobs will be brought. Then, so the money that you are spending in the co-op stays in the community, right? Because now you're paying, you know, somebody who lives in the community, somebody's cousin, whatever. That money stays in the community. And then when we're buying locally, when we're buying from the community, that stays in there. Then when we talk about in terms of the economic force, we have one of our sister co-ops is coming to speak at our meeting on June 27th, and it is on Zoom. So you can go to our Facebook page, and you can also go to our website and find out more information about that. But on Tuesday, June 27th at 6 p.m., we'll have one of the founding members of Gem City Market, which is a cooperatively owned grocery store in a neighborhood very similar to the south side of St. Pete in Dayton, Ohio. And
okay, I don't know, because I heard somebody speaking on Earn Your Leisure, and I think it's the same guy. I don't know if it's the same group that got a grocery store in Dayton, Ohio, and they went and got a nice amount of funding to.
Yeah, and again,
that's a play we gotta follow. That's what I see. because I already know what you're talking about, and I see it, and I heard them like, dang, well, they really made a place. I think they got like $4-5 million in funding for this grocery store.
Exactly. So that's what we're looking at, and that's what we try to tell people. We are using best practices. We are not just going out here and saying, oh, we want to start this grocery store in St. Pete and we're learning by error. No, we belong to a group of co-ops, a group of urban co-ops. Some of them have opened, some of them have not. We're following a method that is proven, in over 100 co-ops nationwide have been opened following this model. And again, one of the founders is coming to speak on June 27th at 6 p.m. and you can find out and you can actually see how Gem City Market started. I mean, it was about, I think, a $3 or $4 billion, $4 million project, right? So can you imagine $4 million at the very least coming into the south side of St. Petersburg? And then on that as well, I want to highlight another co-op that is opening and going through the same processes. We are in Detroit, Michigan, the Detroit People's Food Co-op.
Okay.
And their project, I believe, is at probably $22 million.
Wow.
So imagine that money coming in. When we talk about economic force, when we talk about building a sustainable and a stable community and providing jobs and providing from the start of the co-op through the end of the co-op, having $1 million projects come in, that's an amazing thing.
Okay.
And we want to do that. So
we got 3 minutes left, right?
We got 3 minutes.
So I need to know, how do people get information about this co-op?
So the easiest way to find out information about the co-op is to go to our website, which is www.ocgc.coop, and that's COOP. And that's our website. You can find out about us, how to join, and things like that. You can also.
Give me that one more time, please, slowly.
www.ocgc, which stands for One Community Grocery Co-op, .coop, COOP. And you can also look us up on Facebook. We're under one. If you just type in One Community Grocery Co-op, you'll see us in St. Petersburg, Florida, and you can find out information that way. The membership, there is an investment. Again, we are a business.
How much is the investment?
So the investment is $225, a one-time
tax write-off.
$225 for individuals. Businesses can also become members, and their membership is $275, and you can pay all of these things in installments of $25. So if you don't have the $225, hey, we understand, but we want you to make a commitment to pay $25 a month. Until you can pay that out. So, because we want people to be able to join, but we want people to invest in our community.
Give us a phone number real quick.
Oh, and in terms of a phone number, please.
People out in radio land.
Man, people in radio land.
35 seconds.
Oh, no.
All right, while shout out to Yubi. So while she looking for a phone number, I got my final thoughts. Renee Ross, go to your pastor, right, and tell your pastor that we want to start a summit, and what we want to do with our pastors, we would like our pastors to take their to take the money that they're making from their congregations. Let's go all to one local bank, and let's make a pact with that bank to, if our churches and parishioners are putting our money into your bank, you need to give us loans. You need to fund our community projects, and that's the way we do that.
All right, real quick, the phone number. Yes, sorry, it's 727-340-0337, and again, the phone number is 340-0337. And you can reach us on the web at www.ocgc.coop.
NACA Workshop, y'all. Go online and I see y'all at the workshop on August 26th. Yeah.
9 Gems. The Bird.
Gospel lovers, are you ready for some church? The Angels Gospel Show is back with a bang. Pray to your gospel with live interviews, scriptures, inspirational.
Agape Souls Boutique. High-end boutique looks and quality with affordable pricing. Located at 6025 Martin Luther King Street South in St. Pete. Choose from our amazing selection of stylish, fashion-forward heels, wedges, boots, children's shoes, accessories, and much more. You can shop now and pay later, interest-free with Afterpay. Subscribe to our website and get huge savings on our latest products at agapesoulsboutique.com. For more information, call 727-379-1318. Come give your feet the royal treatment and check us out at Agape Souls Boutique today. Agape Souls Boutique. High-end boutique looks and quality with affordable pricing. Located at 6025 Martin Luther King Street South in St. Pete. Choose from our amazing selection of stylish, fashion-forward heels, wedges, boots, children's shoes, accessories, and much more. You can shop now and pay later, interest-free with Afterpay. Subscribe to our website and get huge savings on our latest products at agapesoulsboutique.com. For more information, call 727-379-1318. Come give your feet the royal treatment and check us out at Agape Souls Boutique today.
Keep Jazz the show.